Hey guys, Jack Carmody here. Today I'd like to go over a concept called wise mind. And this is a concept I've been using quite a bit lately in my couples counseling. Wanted to pass it along to you guys, thought it might be helpful. This comes from DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, and it's a great concept to understand, particularly in your relationships, particularly if there's conflict going on, or you have trouble communicating, trouble expressing yourself, or trouble receiving what the other person is saying. So the basic concept goes like this. We have two parts of our mind. We have our rational mind, we have our emotional mind. The emotional mind is just what it is. It is the emotional part of us. It's the part that feels anger, frustration, discouragement, but also the part of us that feels love and compassion. That's the emotional mind. The rational mind is governed by rationality, the logic, the facts of the situation. That's our rational mind. And both of these are God given. God gives us emotions, and God gives us reason and logic. Where we want to be is where those two intersect, which is called the wise mind. The wise person is in touch with their emotions, but is also in touch with the reasonable side and the rational side of them, but they're not governed by either. They take input from both, and they make a wise decision. So the best way to understand this is with an example, and I'll just throw it out that just happened to me the other week. You probably have had this experience too. You're in a downtown area and someone comes up to you asking for money. They come up to you asking for money. So what would your emotional mind say in that moment? Your emotional mind might look at the person and see that they, are wearing clothes that don't fit. They haven't bathed in a while, and your emotional mind might pick up on that and say, wow, this person's really not in a good place, and maybe I should give them what I have on me to help them. So your emotional mind might be driven by compassion and might want to act out of that compassion. That's the emotional mind. What could the rational mind say? The rational mind could look at that situation and say, well, you can give them some money, but they're just going to go spend it on alcohol or drugs or something. And, give them money, but you're actually in the long run hurting them because you're feeding an addiction or something. Your rational mind could say, well, there's a reason they're out here on the streets, and it's because they've made bad decisions or what have you. And your rational mind could easily talk your emotional mind out of helping at all. What you want to be is you want to get to the wise mind, and the wise mind draws on the emotions, but draws on the rationality and makes a wise decision. So for me in that situation, my emotional mind was wanting to be compassionate, but my rational mind was wanting to temper that. So my wise mind decided to help them, not give them money, but I went to the bus station and bought them a bus pass, and I had them, had them look me in the eye and promise me that they were going to use this for themselves, and that they weren't going to sell it. That seemed the wise decision to me. I wanted to help. I wanted to do it in a practical way that couldn't be abused, and they needed transportation, and so I thought a bus pass would be a good path forward for that. Could they have lied to me and sold the pass and bought whatever? Sure. But I feel like the wise decision in that moment was for the bus pass. It's an example, but you could see how being governed or driven completely by emotions or completely by rationality could get you in trouble. And so we want to be in touch with our emotions, in touch with our rationality, but operating out of a place of wisdom. And so in your relationships, think particularly about your spouse. And if they are saying something or doing something and you feel like your emotions are rearing up, again, you want to be in the wise place. And when our emotions overtake us, that can make us, can lead us to say things we wouldn't normally say or do things we wouldn't normally do. And those can be have a devastating impact. Likewise, our rationality. If we are purely driven by facts and logic, that can cause us to react in ways that aren't empathetic and aren't compassionate, and that can get you in trouble. You want to be in the place of the wise mind, fully in touch with your emotions, fully in touch with the rational side of you. And if you're in the wise mind, that's going to pay dividends for you personally and in your relationships. So I hope that's helpful. Out for now. We'll talk to you guys later.